This is Things Police See, First-Hand Accounts, with your host, Steve Gold.
Welcome to the podcast that interviews active and retired police officers about their most intense, bizarre, and sometimes humorous moments on the job. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the great stories of the men and women of law enforcement to get a better idea, better appreciation of what they actually do on the job. That's the whole point of the podcast. So I thank you for all the rating and reviewing. I love the messages. Keep them coming. It's really encouraging. I love hearing from you guys that were on the fence about being a police officer. Then you hear these men and women's stories and you decide to pull the trigger and do the job. So I love it, guys. Thank you. Best way you can support the show is to check out the Patreon. The link is in the show notes. And if you join the Patreon, there's different levels you can join. At like sergeant level, you get a shout out, and then there's a lieutenant captain for the really big people people have a lot of extra money can join that one, and I truly appreciate that. But any amount is great. And when you join on all levels, you will get 2 bonus episodes of Cops in the News a month. It's a lot spicier, a lot more topical stuff, a lot looser. It's usually me and Ken Roybal, my buddy Ben Peters, or whoever else comes on, and we just kind of crack wise what's going on in the world. And it's a good time. People enjoy it, and it's actually offering that 2 times a month has actually really helped with the membership. So the numbers are pretty great, but they could always be better. But rest assured, I will not. The show will remain free. You'll always be able to check out the 4 interviews a month. The whole point is to get as many people out there to hear the stories and to gain that better appreciation for the lunacy and insanity that police officers deal with on a daily basis. So without further ado, let me get to our guest today. Very excited to have him. Very interesting side hustle. It's just really cool. He's 14 years patrolman. Been a police officer total of 14 years. He's currently at the Jackson Police Department in Tennessee. He balances his life as a patrolman with owning his own production company, Misguided Perceptions Media Group. Without further ado, let me bring on the great Jaron Lockridge. Jaron! Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm glad to be here today.
So good to have you, brother. Yeah, it's amazing, dude. I thought when I was contacted via email to see if you were interested in coming on and telling some stories, I was like, oh, he's got to be retired. Like he's not like running a media group and being a cop still. But look at this, you are.
Yeah. It's the ultimate balance of time. Trying to juggle a family life and doing this 40 hours a week, and also having your own media company. But hey, I'm making it work so far, and I'm loving what I'm doing.
It's great, man. How long have you been doing the media company?
I actually started. I officially created my company in 2016. Just looking for something to do. Like I remember in the academy, one of the instructors told us, find something to do outside of law enforcement, and that always stuck with me. And I was a writer in high school. Started back writing and said, hey, technology is easy. I want to get back into trying this filmmaking thing. And then I just made it happen and officially started my company in 2016 and been doing it ever since.
That's cool, man. Yeah, it is a really cool outlet, especially it's a really a DIY thing. You're learning skills and building talent on your own by doing it. It's kind of scary. Like I don't even know, like when I was peeping at some of your stuff, some of your movies, even just getting, it's all a mystery to me and probably to all of us, but even just getting that movie look, like it looks like film rather than, the difference between like a movie and like a soap opera, like the speed of the film is different or something, but the lighting, everything looks like a movie, even just learning like, all right, I got some ideas. I'm a good writer. I know some friends that can act or I'll get some people. Then you got to make it look right. That's a whole nother dimension. Because do you do it all, or do you hire outside camera people?
I'm getting to the point now where I'm hiring help. But yeah, at first I had to do it all. I had to do the camera work, the editing, the lighting. Yeah, everything was on me to learn those jobs, and I just get out there and learning it hands on, and got to a point to where, hey, I can make it happen by myself.
That's cool, man. I love it. Is it hard to like, man, I would be so stressed out if you're on patrol. I mean, cops do generally do get a lot of time off. Like if you use it, a lot of cops just work overtime and whatever.
Yeah.
But you can put the time off. You can kind of make your schedule so you can get the projects done, or there's going to be certain breaks when there has to be breaks, stuff like that.
Yeah. The greatest thing that happened for me that allowed me to do this consistently is we work 12-hour shifts here. And the my first agency that I worked with was a 12-hour shift. So you get the 3-day weekends off. And after I came to Jackson Police Department, we were initially working 8 hours, which kind of sucked because you got stuck with a day out between the week. But when we moved to 12 hours, it just made it so much easier because you're literally working a few days a week and you get that whole weekend off. So that was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, so you work 3 days on?
Yeah, 3 day I work. It rotates like you'll work a Monday and Tuesday, you're off a Wednesday and Thursday, and then you work a weekend, and then you're off a Monday, Tuesday, work a Wednesday, Thursday, and then you're off that entire weekend. So it just rotates like that back and forth.
That's nice. And you get that way you get a little taste of like normal people life too, like being
Yeah,
off on a
yeah,
Saturday, like a
yeah,
Sunday. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
That's cool, man. So how long has this been going on with the media company?
Since 2016, I've made around 11 movies. Just trying to find what works. Trying to see what works for me personally. I've done everything from horror to dramas to comedies, and the thing that I'm noticing works the most is just me telling stories that I have experience with, like from using my experience to tell authentic stories. So just more law enforcement type stuff, gritty style, cop dramas and stuff like that. And I'm noticing that those are the type of things that people are attaching to a lot more of these human stories, and it's doing very well for me. It's here lately, especially these last few movies. I think I found my niche, and that's what I'm going with from this point forward.
Is a more recent one the betrayal one?
Betray is the
Or
one that
betray?
came out before the Stix, and the Stix is the one that just released this month.
I was going to ask you about that. Is that about like a rural police department?
Yes, yes,
Oh, that's right up my
yeah,
alley. That's like where I work.
yeah, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Where
It's about a
can you buy
what?
it to download it or?
Yes, it's out now on Amazon. Amazon is probably the most popular place where it's available, and it's also on Apple TV. And it'll be on Roku and Tubi here in another day or two for people who like those ad-based type platforms. But yeah, it's on Amazon right now.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Is it probably not kid friendly? I'm guessing.
No,
Cop
it's not.
drama. Yeah.
It's I love the show The Wire, so it's I would say a lot of people have compared it to feeling like The Wire. There's I would say it's probably closer to something like that.
All right. I love it, brother. Um,
Yeah.
and we'll put all the links in the show notes to whatever you want in the episode so people can check it out and,
Okay.
support you.
Okay.
Jaron, can you take us way back to a young patrolman, Lockridge, on the
hmm
job? Your first hot call you went to, the first call that really got your blood going.
Ugh. The first one that comes to mind hmm, would probably be I'm maybe a week or two out of the academy. I'm still with my FTO officer, uh, and I'm working at the Wyville PD, Wyville, Tennessee, very small town, 9-man department, and we're working night shift, and I want to say it's maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, and get a call of a burglary in progress. So I'm heading there, turn my lights off as I get on the street, and my FTO is like, these things are never, if anything, it's already happened. This has never
Yeah, it's
happened. So
nothing. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm thinking I'm going up to the house and get out, and we kind of walk up to the house and see a guy standing on the corner. Next thing we know, boom, they all come out the door. So this is active. Like we're running.
Yeah.
So I hawk the guy down, get him into custody. The rest of them got away, and because of that, we ended up getting all of them because that guy let us know who the rest of them were. And I remember that just being my first hot call and feeling so great about it. Like I actually
Hell
got a
yeah.
burglar in progress, and out of my 14 years, I've never had a burglary in progress like that again, where we actually caught him on scene. So yeah, that was my first one and my most memorable one.
Dude, that's great. How good did you feel in training? You bird dog the guy down.
Yeah, it felt great because my FTO, he couldn't catch his guys, so I kind of held that over him for a little while.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. And when on FTO you get the guy, you arrest him, and you bring him back to interrogate him. Does he let you take the lead, or do you kind of like work it together, like when you question him, or detectives come in?
We kind of worked it together. He at first he wouldn't talk to us. He was basically I'm not talking to nobody role. So we ended up having to take him in and take him into jail. And I think we had one investigator at the department. He ended up following up and was able to get it out of him.
Okay.
And we were able to go back and get the rest of the guys that were involved in that.
That's great, man. So did you guys have you brought him to like a county lockup or something?
Yeah. We have down here most of the counties are going to like a metro jail system. So most of the city departments in the county and everybody we use the same criminal justice complex. So yeah, we just took them there and they were able to get it out of them later on.
Do you guys even have cells anymore at your stations for booking and stuff, or do you just bring them right to the jail?
No, we didn't there, and here at Jackson PD we have them, but we use them for like evidence and storage of property. Yeah, we have the main in Madison County, the criminal justice complex is the big place where Jackson PD and Madison County takes their people, so everybody just is housed in that one complex.
That's interesting. It's interesting how every state does it so different. Like the couple of different places I've worked in Mass, the other place I worked at was bigger than where I am now, but they had, 4 cells, a matron cell, a juvenile cell, and you would take someone in, and if they were going to be like, usually arraigned the next day at court, or even the weekend, you would hold them and someone would have to check them and all that. And where I work now, it's a small agency, and we have just like a booking room where like if you want, you can get the booking stuff out of the way. Then you print out the booking and you drive them to the county jail, and the jail holds them because we just don't have a facility to do it. But most places, like in the eastern part of Massachusetts, it's like the very populated area around Boston and all that. All those police departments have their fully functional cell blocks, and they put prisoners in them. But I've seen all that to say, because I've had people on, and I've seen pictures of down south and out west where there'll be like the intake for county jail, and there's like 5 different agencies lined up.
Yeah.
Everybody's just dropping them there, which is way better, I think, because I don't want to. Holding on to people sucks, because then you got to cell check them every half an hour, And then one of them was like it was a big complaint because the troopers must pay more money or have a better deal with the jail. So they would a trooper would come in and he'd go right around the entire line. Go right in, and all the deputy sheriffs are like, "What the hell's going on?"
We've been waiting here all this time.
Yeah,
we have our own court system. We have a city court and then a county court. So we handle our own court. Everything up to felonies goes over to the criminal justice complex. But we still hold the initial arraignments until they get bound over to a grand jury, and then they go to the criminal justice complex. So we still kind of hold our own court, but we everybody's housed in one complex here, which has been kind of seamless so far.
Yeah, do you ever get those busy nights when you're just waiting forever?
Very rarely, because most of the people in there is from Jackson PD. So a lot of times when we have stuff going on, we're just waiting for each other. So most of the times it's us bringing them back and forth, and the county's pretty busy as well. But usually, it's not that much of a wait. You bring them in, do your paperwork. The jailers take them. It's pretty good how everything rolls and how smooth it is. So we don't have that much of a wait.
Okay. And this is the Jackson from Johnny Cash song, I'm going down to Jackson. Same one. Yeah. So what is it with Jackson? What is the deal? What was he singing about? Is it kind of like a party town, or?
I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe
Sure.
back then there was a lot of
It's
honky
very.
tonks. I don't know.
It might be because Carl Perkins is known from here as well. So maybe back in the day it was that was the thing of it. Now it's just, to me, it's a laid back town. Uh, Here and there, it's just like everywhere else. It gets lively and you have your issues and your problems, but um, yeah, it's just, I guess because I'm from here, it's nothing
Yeah.
out of the blue. I just love it here, and it's just one of those towns where I love being a resident.
How many people live there?
I think we have 120,000.
All right, so
Yeah,
that's
so it's kind of like a medium small city. It's the stop between Memphis and Nashville. It's the big city between Memphis and Nashville. When you're on your way to Nashville, most time you stop here to eat. If you have family or something, just stop by. It's just that main hub between Memphis and Nashville.
okay. And yeah, I mean, you guys must have a couple hundred cops at least with that many people.
Yeah, I think our department is, I want to say 240,
Yeah.
240. So we have a great criminal investigation division. I mean, they're really good. Most of our departments are great SWAT team. And so I would say, like, this is a department where I was laid off from my first one and came here, and I don't see myself going to another one. I love being uh, here at Jackson Police Department.
Well, that says a lot, especially with the climate right now and people like
Yeah.
the sign-on bonuses that are going on. You know what I mean? Like, it's so enticing. But whenever you see a city with like a 50,000 sign-on bonus, you know it's like hell on earth there.
Yeah.
You know,
Why is the bonus so high?
yeah, right. Like, we're gonna abuse the piss out of you. Come on over. Here's 50 G's. Kick you right between the legs. Jaron, can you tell us about like the strangest or most bizarre thing you've dealt with on patrol?
I probably got a tie on that one. I remember patrolling on Christmas Eve, I believe, and I'm just driving, going through, got my windows down, driving slow, quiet night, uh, and just rolling through. And I remember stopping and looking. This guy in a Grinch mask comes out and he looks right at my car, and I'm thinking, whatever, maybe he's playing with the kids or something.
Right.
And right then, my radio keys up, and a burglary. A burglary. The guy's wearing a Grinch mask, and I guess he heard it and he takes off. So I get out the car and I'm running after him. He's gone. So, and that's one of the things that I can always remember, that I had a foot chase with the Grinch on Christmas night.
Do you have a bunch of gifts in his hands when he's running?
He had a backpack, but yeah, he had this Grinch mask. This is before COVID, so I remember seeing that mask he had on. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Maybe he's playing a joke on his kids for the night or
Yeah.
something. And it's my radio was loud because my windows were down. I guess he heard the radio key up and he just took off running. And yeah, that was always gonna be a one that I remember. And then I remember having a DOA at a hoarder's house. Um, and amongst all of this going on in his house, the pest and everything, and him, like, I remember that being such, I had to go home immediately and take my uniform off and
Yeah.
shower and just lay there like
Ugh.
disgusting.
Yeah.
So those are some of the quirks of the job.
Yeah. What did for the DOA? What is it? Just kind of like rats and stuff around there?
Well, they weren't messing with him, which were the roaches and everything were so focused on everything else in the house, food and stuff. Like, it was, I don't know if you've ever seen that hoarder show, but that
Oh
was
yeah.
true to life. It was absolutely disgusting. And I remember just the smell. Like, it was a smell I couldn't get out of my nose for 2 days. It made the paramedics almost vomit on scene. So that had to be bad off stuff that they sensed. So yeah, it was a terrible day that day.
Yeah, I've been in houses like that, and I don't think you wouldn't. I don't know if anybody would experience that smell, but the ones I've been in, and it was like magazines stacked up like hallways, and like just the
Yeah.
sink filled with rotting food, the corpse, big guy, 300 pounds, animals locked in with him for 3 or 4 days. It was just horrific. But the smell is like strong ammonia with
Yes.
with poop, and then
Yes.
that body smell. It is bad, and
Yeah.
pretty much anybody I work with knows, once they get to know me, they know I have like a very weak gag reflex. I'm like, I do that so easily. I've done it a bunch of different calls, but
Yeah.
it is like hell for me when it's
Yeah.
like when you have to go in there and they come and move the body. It's like, oh, don't move it.
Yeah. I'm tough on a lot of stuff, but yeah, smells are my weakness. And I had an older cop tell me about the Vicks trick, and it works sometimes. But yeah, that was a terrible day, and that was the first time I knew a dead body could still burp. Yeah, I almost lost all my lunch that day. That was terrible.
Yeah,
That
making
was one.
noises at you.
Yeah.
I never forget. I had one, and the guy he died in his spare room, and he just lied. It was weird because he was in clearly his spare room, and he folded his clothes and put them on the bureau of the spare room, and then he put sweatpants on and just went to sleep over the covers. So it just was very suspicious. And
Yeah.
I walked in the room, and he's lying there, and he was older, but kind of heavy set. And there was this huge, like softball size bulge over his private area with a wet spot on top.
Mm.
And I was like, what is that? And then the other cop I was with was like older. And he's like, yeah, that's what you think it is. It's because there was no odor yet, but he had started to bloat.
Oh,
And for whatever reason, the fluids found its way to his, boys. And it was like about to pop. And I remember thinking, and it didn't smell yet. And he told me, he's like, when investigators come, they will move the body, and then we will experience the smell. I was
yeah.
like, I don't want to be here. Get me out of here.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing to do. Yeah, I don't envy anybody who has to deal with all that.
No, heck no. Yeah, I don't get like we have troopers do our death investigations, if it's a homicide type thing, and it's like all they do. They have like a body side and they have a drug side for their detective unit, and the body side it's mainly going to not murders and just slightly suspicious unattended deaths, and it's like that's your job. You just go to them all day. It's like, to me, that's like a major bummer, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
I wouldn't want that at all. It's just I usually, especially when you hear it come out, we got a DOA or possible DOA. I'm hoping that call gets issued to the next person in the rotation, because I hardly ever like going to them, because
Yeah.
they're rarely nice. You never find the ones that are dead, just died, or they've been stewing there for at least a day.
Right. Sound like, oh, she's 95. I watched her take her last breath, and there's a bouquet of flowers next to her. It's never like
Yeah, never that easy.
that. Heck no. Jaron, can you think about or tell us about your most intense or terrifying call you dealt with?
Let me think. I would say probably. I remember back, we had a shooting here in Jackson. A guy shot his wife, and they put the be on the lookout and broadcasted it. And a trooper ended up finding this guy's car, and got into a pursuit. And This was when I was working with my first agency, but that incident actually happened in Jackson, where I'm at. So he's coming down, um, and the trooper is in pursuit with him, and the only person close is me, but I'm 10 minutes away in another city town, and the trooper lost contact with him. So I'm barreling up this highway, 100 miles an hour, trying to get to this trooper, because we're thinking like this guy has a gun, and
Yeah.
he's engaged with this trooper, and I get there just after they pull into this guy's driveway, and he's rushing in, going after a shotgun, and having to deal with that situation and getting him under control. And I just remember seeing all of that, and that sticks in my mind more than anything, having to deal with that call, because he was going toward that gun. So what are you going for? Are you going for a shootout with
Yeah.
us, or are you just about to take yourself out? So that was one of those calls where this guy had lost it. That it's either about to end one or two ways. He's going to jail, or if I had to have a shootout with this guy. And I remember that being one of those intense times in the back of my mind. And there's so many of them, but that was the one where afterwards I felt like, oh, we resolved this before it got a lot worse. And just remember barreling up that highway 100 miles an hour because we couldn't hear this trooper. Thought something bad had happened with this trooper. So yeah, that's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's tough, man. When if someone's, they always say the hands kill. So if someone's being weird with their hands and not complying, it is tough to be like, how much time are you going to give them?
Yeah.
Or how much that's the thing that really pisses me off when people get all over cops about shootings and about like he shouldn't have shot him. It's like, yeah, but it's not your life. You're not there.
Yeah.
And someone who's like non-compliant, has a huge criminal history, and is like at their driver's seat but reaching into their center console and will not respond to your commands. Mm-hmm. Are you supposed to wait until they spin around and shoot you?
Yeah, until you see a gun. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But go ahead.
Yeah. And it's always what ticks me off is the thought that you signed up, you're a cop, so like it's this mind frame like we're supposed to die, like you're supposed to wait till he points the gun at you. And I'm like, we know that's a risk of the job, but nobody comes to work. Well, I'm going to get shot today,
Right?
That's craziest thinking ever. But yeah, like you've seen it so many times where a guy can have his hands or doing something, and before you know it, he shot somebody. I mean, it happens in a millimeter of a millisecond to go to that point, and only other law enforcement can truly attest to that. Like I honestly can't expect, I guess, a regular person to understand that, but it's just part of where we live.
Yeah. Just we signed up for it. They tell you in academy, like, hey, no one's going to pat you in the back. No one's going to, you're just going to get scrutinized. But then after a few years, you're like, hey, we're really getting scrutinized over here.
Yeah. like, wow, they really do.
This isn't fair at all.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Did you see that recent one? I forget I think it was down south. I don't think it was Tennessee. Maybe it was. The guy who shot the woman with the hot,
with
boiling water.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was wild. I mean, I did the thing that we all did. I watched just the one video, but I guess there's a second video from the officer who did the shooting that does show her with the pot of water, like rearing back to throw it on him.
Okay.
So
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, there's a second one that they've released, I think, recently, and I put myself in those shoes. Like, I might take the risk of getting a little boiling water on me from overshooting a mentally ill lady. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I think I might kind of make some distance and be like, all right, lady's going to scald us here. But we are kind of trained like that could be a deadly weapon. She could burn your eyes. Like, who knows? Yeah. But it just lessened my judgment of it a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. And, maybe it wasn't the exact right thing, but I can understand it now.
Yeah.
And
it's easy to Monday night quarterback. I was looking at that I was like, you have this whole island between you. Mm-hmm. And you have this lady, like, how far could she actually throw it? Maybe it gets on your pants. Maybe it gets on your foot. It's spicy a little bit, but you got a partner here. I mean, it's just, sometimes it's so hard because, like you said, like her rearing the pot, and that is a deadly weapon at that point. But it just, I don't know. It's when
the counter's a good point. He had that barrier.
Yeah. It just complicates it so much more. Like, it should be a absolute last resort. Like, do I have room to run and get out the way? Once that pot is gone, the thread is gone, and now we can go hands on and get you up out of here. But yeah, it's
tough.
It's tough. It's one of those where you can see it from every angle, but. Oh man!
I tell you one thing: those Punisher skull tattoos are not going to help him in court.
Yeah. And then all the jury is going to hear is, "I'm going to shoot you in the face," and then he does it.
Right? Yeah. He's true to his word. He's a man of his word. Yeah, dude, it's terrible. I guess for me, it's like I agree with what you said, but I just don't like that. It's now like a normal. It's normal now to overreact and charge a cop with murder like that.
Yeah.
And it never used to be like that. There used to be an investigation. There was like, we're held to a different standard because of our position in the public eye, because of what we're able to do. But I think also we should be given a little bit of a different standard of how we're prosecuted. You know what I mean? Prosecuted appropriately, like we should be, like everybody else, of course, like no special treatment. But like maybe you don't have to like rush to throw cuffs on and charge somebody with murder when there's like it always feels like they haven't looked at everything yet. They're just doing it because like we better do this or the public's going to explode.
Yeah. When did this incident happen? Because was it indicted, or was this an old video and they just released it? Or
it could be.
I'm honestly just getting aware of everything. I just happened to see it on social media.
Me too. Yeah, me too. I just saw it the last few days. So actually, honestly, I really don't know if it was months ago or what, but
okay. But it's now it's unless it's like open shut case, like the guy pulls a gun out on you and you return fire, or a gun is on scene when it happens, you can almost expect to go through the court process as a police officer. You're going to get indicted in some form or fashion if there's any type of skepticism to it. And that's why, like, I pay my monthly dues to PBA every day just in case, because
absolutely,
it's just the risk of the job nowadays, and I hate that, but
hey,
I'm glad I'm toward the end more than I am beginning.
Absolutely. If you go back and listen to that video, I only watched it twice, and it was in my car, so I don't know if I really got it accurate, but it sounds like she says, obviously she's struggling. She's having mental issues, and I think she says, "I rebuke you in Jesus' name," and then I think he says, "I will shoot you in the." You better not. I'll shoot you in the face. It was like, whoa, that to me was a weird a weird reaction, but maybe it was to the pot. I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting the way it popped up, and I don't know. I think there's a reason it's not going to be George Floyd #2 because of the other stuff that's come out, the other video. Because if you notice, that hasn't happened with it.
Yeah.
Because I think
he was charged, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He was charged with murder. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna go that wild. I think the whole incident with George Floyd, why that blew up like that, is because he was never charged, and they were like, "You just gonna let him walk," and that blew up like that. This might, it be angry. Of course, people are gonna be angry about it, but the fact that he was charged, I think, is gonna kind of quell some of that.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that other video. I saw from the other officer's angle. It looks terrible.
Dude, absolutely. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Yeah. How did you become a cop?
Yeah,
we got a problem here. Problem done. It's like, whoa.
Because it looked like she dumped the water. Like he told her to turn it off. She dumped it, and then she looks like she dodges, and he just.
Yeah,
I don't know. It looks horrible from that other angle. So I might have to go see that other one.
Yeah, I only heard it described on a podcast, so I have to preface that by saying I didn't actually see the second video. I just heard somebody analyzing it, so I'm kind of talking out of my ass here. But yeah, last word on it. Like I said, it's a lady. This is a big dude. Like, I always give ladies a lot more leeway to beat on me or to whatever, you know what I mean? Because we're just bigger and stronger and we can kind of take it. Like, just because you can doesn't always mean you should. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I feel.
And then too, it's boiling water will mess you up. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But how far could she possibly throw it? Like if she chunks this big pot full of water, could it really reach you to the point where it'll disable you? And that was my only thought about it. Like, did it really have to go that far?
Yeah.
If anything, jump, move out the way, and then go put hands on her and snatch her up out of there.
Right.
Sometimes that's stress. And then too, on the flip side, like a lot of younger cops will probably see this and be, in a situation where they have to use their firearm, they'll hesitate. And that second of hesitation will cost them their life. It's just a catch-22 on all sides.
Yep. Yeah, that's the danger. You see that a lot now with guys. Like, you seen some of these videos where it's like the guy full-on has a big knife and the guy closest to him has a taser. And you're like,
no.
I was not trained like that at all. But
no, not at all.
So it's getting a little bit, and I get it. But
the reliability on the taser thing is
they're 50-50. They're 50-50. That's it.
You just never know. I've seen people with two of them, and like it connects, but something happens in the shirt or something that doesn't make a connection, and maybe they get a little jolt, but they're still coming at you. Like,
Yeah.
you just can't depend on them.
You see it in training. Like you're holding a guy, the instructor's right there, and you don't get the lock.
Yep.
Because you can tell, because the guy's like, "Oh, that wasn't that bad," and they're like, "Well, you didn't get the connection, my man."
And if you're too close, it's not going to be as effective because you don't get the spread for
Right.
the NMI on it. So it's yes, and that's another thing you see put in the public. Why didn't you just use a taser? Because tasers don't work all the time. If I'm too close to you, that taser is not going to work like you think it's going to work. So
Yeah, it will make you very angry.
yeah, very.
Jaron, can you tell us about a positive or heartwarming encounter you've had on the job?
I remember having this older lady. She broke down on the side of the road, and she had a flat. She didn't have a jack or anything to change the tire. She didn't have any family around her. And a fellow officer, he's passed away now. He died on the line of duty, car accident. Eddie Hamer, gentle giant, big guy. Uh, I remember this is his 90 summer heat. This lady didn't have a jack, and we were like, "How are we going to help this lady?" We're in Whiteville, Tennessee. Wrecker's not going to be able to show up. She's diabetic, has some issues going on. How are we going to help this lady? And I remember Eddie grabbing the car. I always remember it because I'm sitting there and all like, "Are you really about to do this?" He freaking picks the car up enough
Whoa.
for me to get the tire off and put the other one on, and he drops it. And
How big was this guy? Because you look like a pretty big dude.
he was way bigger than me. He was about Eddie was maybe 6'7", 6'6", just a huge guy. And he grabbed it, lifted that car enough for me to get it, and then just dropped it. And I remember seeing that and was like, it was just so amazing. And it probably injured him a little bit because he was that whole day he was winded and stuff. But just remember how he went through that just to help this lady do that. And he's just a gentle giant, just a great guy. And I remember that lady just thanking us, getting her out that heat, and she just couldn't thank us enough. And I'm like, no, thank him. He's the one that lifted the car up. Just the fact that he lifted that car, that shows you, for one, how strong he was, because he always was just a big burly man.
Yeah.
But I remember him sitting there, and I remember him shaking and sweat pouring, and I'm like, this guy's really lifting this car up.
Damn, like Andre the Giant.
Yeah, he's a big guy, but yeah, he's passed away. Great guy. And that's something I tell a lot of people whenever I see him. So I'm like, he lifted a car, man. I was like, you have to be there, because it was a itty bitty little car, but
Still.
the fact that he lifted a freaking car up.
Dude, that's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, I feel bad for the big guys, man. They don't live as long as like more normal sized people. I think they say once you get over like 6'3", 6'4", something to do with your heart is not. It's harder for your heart to keep your body oxygen. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, Jaron, but
all that mass.
Yeah, just so much mass. Like my college roommate was 6'8", and he was like 275, just 280. Big guy, but kind of lean, just huge. Like he's the kind of guy you go to a party and he walks in behind you, and it's like everybody at the party's like, who the hell is this guy? This guy's, he's head and shoulders above every other man in the room. Just giant. But he told us that one night. We were like, dude, it must be so awesome to be a giant. And he's like, it's pretty cool. He's like, but I will die young. And we're like, what? He's like, yeah, we don't live as long. And sure enough, I Googled it like later on, and I was like, yeah, they don't live as long. It's a bummer, dude.
Yeah, it must be something kind of probably about the same way a lot of bodybuilders. I guess it just puts a lot on your heart, having to go through that, and these big bodybuilders with all these muscles, like having to pump all this extra blood. So maybe it's just the size just puts a strain in the heart. But that's what I thought of it like that.
That's what I tell my wife whenever I see somebody that's overly jacked. I'm like, this guy, he's gonna probably be dead tomorrow. He's on steroids. This loser. Yeah. I'm au naturel, baby.
It's killing his heart.
I'll be around forever. Don't worry. Oh man, Jaron, I'm interested to hear. So you have a. Can you just like give us like a synopsis of making a project? I'm just curious. So you have an idea for a movie. You at this point, are you writing the scripts yourself? You're doing the writing and all that.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I'm pretty much everything that happens behind the camera. I'm pretty much handling. That's how you keep the cost down because a lot of the money is behind the camera, hiring the cinematographer, the writers, the crew, and everything there. So a way that I'm able to make the movies the way that I do is doing those jobs, or training myself to do those jobs, so I can cut that cost. I can pay myself later. I own the movie. So that's how I do that. I write the script, cast the script, get on set, and we shoot it. I can direct and shoot the movie at the same time, and then I edit it. And I got to a point to where I could do that and keep the quality high to the way nobody knows that. So like even with the Stix right there over my shoulder, if you can see it, um, when people watch it, they were like, "It's no way that you did most of this by yourself." And to me, that's a compliment when you can't tell that it's just me behind the camera. So, yeah, just doing all this and just taught myself hands on how to do all this to kind of cut those costs.
that's crazy, man. Is there a preview for it we can play?
Yeah, it's a trailer on
YouTube,
YouTube. Yeah,
Britflix.
YouTube. The
Whoa, sorry about that.
search the Sticks, and it should pop up rather easily.
The Stix trailer, Jaron Lockridge. There we go. Hold on one second. I got to remember how to share my screen here, my man. I think okay, tell me if this looks okay. Okay, that's my desktop. I don't really want people to see that, but okay. Do you see the movie now? Can you see it okay, bud?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. Let's check it out.
Make this shit right, bro. I promise you. I do anything. Don't do this.
He'll do anything, huh? Say that then.
This ain't the first or last time our leash gets tightened one day and or loosened the next. Right now, we got the green light. Take advantage of it.
What's up? Buck told Martell you ain't copping work no more. So word is Martell think you on the offensive.
I don't even want you. I want Martell, and you gonna help me get her.
And there's never been a war where the economy didn't take a nosedive after the first shots were fired. I suggest you figure this little situation out and do it fast. Because I have no intention of slowing that wheel down.
From the Stix. Welcome to the Stix. You either hunt or you go.
Man, this got great production value.
You gon' die, do what I did because I had to survive. I
Yeah, man, just one of those gritty crime dramas, kind of like The Wire.
Yeah, hell yeah. Dude, that I mean, I'm not trying to insult you, but that looks like a real movie. I mean, it looks like it was made, like high production value, man. That's
Yeah,
cool.
man, yeah. I've gotten to a way that I finally got to a point to where I can make them pretty high quality, and nobody's can tell that it's a very minimal crew behind the camera. So to me, that's an accomplishment.
Hey, maybe you need like a snarky or mean, soulless ginger detective in your next movie.
Hey,
I could fly.
my next movie is about a detective, so we can make that happen.
I'll have to learn how to act real quick. I'm not great at it. How do you find the local actors? Like, obviously, these people have acted before. You can tell they know how to act. Is it just? I guess Tennessee is kind of like you have Nashville, and there's some pretty creative based cities around there. So there's probably plenty of people that you can pull from, right?
Yeah, here most of the time, Memphis and Nashville, I have talent from there, even from Mississippi, uh, Tupelo, Mississippi, and Jackson, Mississippi, and mostly the surrounding states. People will travel for an opportunity. This next movie that I'm doing, I'm kind of doing a broader search. I might be able to have the means to fly some people in and get a little bit more variety of talent. But it's been an ongoing process. Every movie I seem to see that casting call. I put what's called casting call out, just people who want to submit for these roles, and every movie I see that number of submissions grow. So people are seeing the work and are interested in working with me, which I don't take for granted. So it's growing, and that's all I can ask for.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome. I love it. Jaron, last question for you. It's a popular one with people who are on the fence about getting into law enforcement, or maybe are in academy or in backgrounds. What is some advice that you would give to new patrolmen starting out?
I would say it's one of those jobs where you have to experience it firsthand to truly. Anybody can tell you anything about it. You can hear all the negative stuff. You actually have to experience it to see how rewarding of a job it actually is. It's a stressful job, but it's very rewarding when you actually help somebody who needs to be helped. I would just say treat everybody fair. Treat everybody like they're your mother, or your father or your brother, and you will get a long way in this job. I would say out of 14 years I've been a cop, I can count on two hands. Well, one hand, I actually fight that I've been in that I just couldn't avoid. Most of the time, I've been able to talk and de-escalate people just by treating them with respect and fairness. And a lot of times, if you just treat people with respect and fairness, you'll get out of anything, and you'll make the best out of most of your situations. This is just one of those jobs where people just want to be. You're meeting them at their worst, and you got to understand that. Take a breath and try to talk to that person fairly, and if you have to take it there, but just don't always go 10 and be that a-hole cop. Treat person with fairness, and you will most of the time will come out on a good end of that, and learn something about a person, something that they're dealing with, or some way that you can actually help them, and it's nothing more rewarding than that.
Great advice, man. And I've heard that from a bunch of people too, and that's my opinion, is you don't, it's hard to tell, or even when you're in academy, for someone to really know what it's like to do the job. So like doing ride-alongs or getting to know a cop, or, just because you don't know how you're going to react to that first mangled body, or that first woman screaming at you at a domestic. You know what I mean? It's like, it's tough. And we've all worked with those guys that are like the guy you don't want to show up, or the guy that pokes and prods people. And it's like, we don't, you're putting work into somebody, and then they will just come unravel it with like a few quick snarky little like jabs at the person. It's like, dude, the person's in crisis. You can't like poke them, Yeah.
Don't bring us more paperwork. Like,
right.
Let's get this situation fixed. And, and a lot of times, like, and it's easy because, like you said, you can. I don't know how it is up there, but it's been times where I've dealt with a DOA at a car accident and have to go 10-8 and go right to a call where a lady's cussing me out. And I'm like, look, this is not the day. Because you're going right call after call. There's no break time. There's no debriefing or whatever after dealing with something like that. So a lot of times you have to take that time to yourself. And that's why I always remember that instructor telling me, like, find something to do outside the job, something that you love. Always have a hobby to have those outlets, and it helps you deal with that. But just try to treat every situation like a clean slate until you find otherwise.
Absolutely. Great advice, man. Thank you so much for coming on. It was an honor to have you. And everybody check out Misguided Perceptions Media Group. Check out Jaron's stuff. It's really cool, and you're supporting a fellow copper. So that's the way to do it. We can do other things besides police work. We do have some of us do have some side talents. Jaron, of course, I will put whatever links you want in the show notes. Maybe a link to your trailer to your movie, contact info, whatever you think would be the best for people to get a hold of you or check your stuff out.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. The trailer to the movie, or just I'm not sure if the Amazon link is available, but it's on Amazon.
Oh yeah, I'll just put the link to the movie. Yeah. That's way smarter. Let's put the link to the movie.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys can check out the movie. Follow him at at Gorilla Filmer on Instagram. And yeah, man, thank you so much. Can you hang on for just like 2 or 3 minutes when I do the outro?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'll be right back with you. The great Jaron Lockridge, everybody. So cool. Cop, filmmaker, still active cop in making movies. It's really inspiring. I mean, you can really go after it. You can do, it doesn't have to be your only gig. You can go after and do something, a side gig like that might turn into another career, so very, very cool. This is a time in the show when I think the Patreon sergeants and above, and who I'm talking about is Jamin Jack. That's Captain Jamin Jack from Security 101. Thank you, sir. The great and powerful Lieutenant Andy Biggs, everybody. Andy upgraded. Thank you. Lieutenant Thomas Connell, ladies and gentlemen. The great Adam McMahon, Adam Mehall, Ben Peters, Bentley Barnett, Brad Thompson, Dan Carlson from Burley Boards. Check him out. Amazing woodwork on Instagram. Chris Jude, everybody. Clark Luckhoff. The great Dave Ellman, Dennis Carrasquillo, ladies and gentlemen, Detective Nick Adams, everybody, Doug and Kelly Newman, love you guys, see you at church, Dylan Mosher, everybody, the great Elliot Sykes, Gary Steiner, ladies and gentlemen, the great George Kariotis, thank you, sir, Greg Gadboy, everyone, J.A. Family is here, thank you, Jake Pinito, everybody, James Rose, the great James Rose, the great Jason Labrie, the powerful Jason Lau, Jessica King, everybody, the great John Jordan, John Shoemaker, the great Justin King, Kyle Roberts, everybody, Kyle Napier, the great Lauren Simpson, the handsome Lane Campbell, Michael Roche, Jimmy Roach, everybody from Roach Machine AI Solutions, Iceman from Motorcop Chronicles, the great Nancy Hammond, Paul Maloney, everybody, past guest, fantastic episode, the great Raymond Arsenault, everyone, Richard Tolles, keep on trucking, brother, stay safe up there, Sasha McNabb, everybody, the great Sasha McNabb, Scott Young, Sean Clifford, Seth Wright, Sheriff Ronald Long, Tammy Walsh, holding it down at dispatch, Tammy, Tony Fahey, William James Long, that's Deputy William James Long to you, thank you very much, Zach Haney, the great Zachary Pleat, and George Tessier. I'll see you at church, brother. Woo! The list is getting long, and I like it. Thank you guys for all the support. The link will be in the show notes for the Patreon if you want to check it out and support that way. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week. You want to say hi to the guests?